Clay Henry joining us here now. And Clay, since you announced your retirement, like how many retirement jokes have you had to sit through? And you just got this song here that Maddie picked, and it's a perfect song too. I mean, it's all in jest, obviously, but is this the kind of stuff that's coming at you left and right now?
Oh yeah, I mean, canes, stuff like that. You know, the guys at Big Creek, they're like, you can go up to the red tees or the yellow tees. I guess the yellows are like, I don't know who plays up there, but the reds are the ladies, super seniors or whatever. I'm not. I'm 67, so I play from the white tees, and I hit it far enough that I'm okay. You know, I'm not short off the tee yet. But anyway, there's all that kind of stuff. And Jean Ann is, is like, okay, now that you're retired, here's the list of stuff that you need to get done. And I was like, whoa, I still got all these jobs and all this part-time thing here, so no, it's okay. Yeah, Ty was talking about what my new job title was going to be, and he's got all these grand ideas, and I said, I just want to be Becca and Sarah's dad. How about that one for a title?
Yeah, so, I thought you just got yourself a new job too, right? Tying flies. I thought that was going to start soon.
Yeah, down at the fly shop. Yep. Yeah, not the proprietor, but just one day a week. And that reminds me, I have to go down there and learn how to run the cash register. So it's the only thing fancy down there. And I think the coffee pot is an old-timey one. I can do that. It's not one of those new Keurigs like I got at home. But, so, yep, I have to run the shuttle if a guy needs somebody to bring his trailer and rig back to the confluence, so when he comes down the river, his trucks, I've got to do that. So,
and then your job is to tell stories.
The other fun thing is like last night, I just listened to Phil Elson. That was my job last night. I just sit on the couch and had you playing, and I was awfully glad that you got a run in the extra innings. I thought that was going to go on forever.
It had the feel of a game that could have gone on forever. Yeah, and a good thing that UCA pinch runs for their catcher in the 10th inning, and then bringing a kid off the bench who couldn't block a couple of sliders there from that Andrew Schultz. You can tell Dave is concerned about the lineup, can't you? I mean, he can say things on camera and into my microphone when I interview him, but when you look at the lineup and all the changes in the lineup in the last couple of weeks, and it's not the players, that are any different that he's starting. It's just their position in the batting order. Because at this time last year, it was 1 through 9. You pretty much knew what that lineup would look like game in, game out.
Yeah, I mean there's a feel to making sure. What I see is he's got 3 or 4 guys that he knows can hit, but you got to find protection for him because Caden Wallace is not getting a good pitch to hit. I mean, he gets nothing. And, if you have somebody behind him that's, like left-handers, you cannot bat a left-hander behind him because they're going to walk him every time, right? Mm-hmm. Or throwing pitches that are just pitcher's pitches. And they don't care if they walk him. There's sometimes where you walk a guy, they fill up the bases. You don't care because you think you can get the next guy out. Robert Moore needs to get going. Stovall's up and down. Gregory's got to hit left-handers to stay in the lineup, right?
Yep, that's right. He's tough to take out of the starting lineup, but if there's a lefty, like his average against lefties, Clay, is under 100.
Yeah, I know it. Yeah.
So it doesn't matter. I mean, you can't, you can point to an on-base percentage with this or that, but you got to be able to hit. You still have to be able to swing the bat and put the bat on the ball, especially in moments where contact means something, and that's why they lost the series against Texas A&M. Was just a couple of spots where he needed contact from lefties.
Yeah, Beaufort was rolling before he hurt his shoulder. They, slowly but surely looks like he's starting to kind of get his timing. And Lanzilli and Turner, they look pretty good, but they're just a hair off. Fortunately, their defense and pitching is so good that they're just going to battle you, and I believe that they'll figure out. But what happens with hitting is you got it coming and going, and that's the nature of the beast. It's there's very seldom do you get 9 clicking on all cylinders. It just doesn't happen. But they SEC pitching will put you in a funk sometimes, Phil.
It definitely will, Clay. And, speaking of the SEC, and even if, Arkansas kind of stays on the exact same level that they are right now, 4 weeks left to go in the regular season, I don't see anybody really scaring Arkansas, remaining into the season. I mean, possibly Tennessee in the East if you have to face them in Hoover. But is there anybody else that you're going to face this rest of the year that really does kind of make you think maybe we do lose that one?
It's SEC series are always tough. The other guys have got players, and you're always a great starting pitcher away from being in trouble. In other words, the other team's got somebody that can shut you down. They just got to keep it. It's really not about do you win the West or you win the East. It is finish solid, try to pick up momentum, and build for postseason. And I'm not talking about Hoover. I'm talking about regional. And if you can finish as SEC West champ, you probably get a super regional. And we know what Baum's like in May. So Baum Walker, I should say. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get that right. But out of respect to Johnny Mike, I want to make sure I always say Baum Walker. That's what they're trying to do, is just great coaches. They just keep pushing buttons, and then all at once they got this guy going and they get that guy going. But yeah, I mean, to answer your question, I don't see somebody out there the rest of the way. Vanderbilt has talent. They could get hot, and that could be a tough series. But that's here, right? And that one's,
that one's at home.
So there's not anybody that scares me coming into Baum Walker Stadium. They're just not.
Mm-hmm. And another thing that's been kind of talked about, I wouldn't say really controversial, but it's something that people have definitely had a debate over the last few days. And with Arkansas playing at Dickey-Stevens last night against Central Arkansas, where the game wasn't televised, do you think that they should continue to do those games in Little Rock even without it being televised? Dickey-Stevens did have a sellout crowd last night, but everybody that wasn't in attendance was pretty ticked off that they couldn't watch it.
Okay, you're asking the wrong guy. So, Phil knows what's about to happen, right? So, I'm a Little Rock guy. I grew up at Ray Winder. I grew up 4 blocks from there. I was a ball boy, bat boy, concessions. I did everything, and Dickey-Stevens is an extension of Ray Winder, and I'm a Pulaski County, product, Little Rock Central. I think University of Arkansas belongs to the state, not just Northwest Arkansas. And if they're going to sell that place out, go down there and play. And I think that the people, it's not just that they sell it out. They snap their fingers and sell it out. And, it's like one game a year that's not on TV. Just think about that. Baseball, we get spoiled. And by golly, I can listen to Phil Elson paint the picture one time a year.
And I'm thankful for that too. I think this has more to do with like the SEC network contract than anything else. I don't think it's the lack of wiring in the stadium. I don't think it has anything to do with anything that's a problem with trying to televise games from inside Simmons Bank Arena. I think it has to do with the SEC network contract, because before this contract was written, they would literally cabled the entire ballpark here just to televise Arkansas versus Louisiana Tech, Arkansas versus Memphis versus Mississippi Valley State. It's about the contract with the SEC network. I understand that fans are angry when you want to watch the game and it's not available, but it's the same idea as, well, like the tournament games in Texas. That's outside the purvey of playing games in SEC ballparks or having home games. So those are streamed, right? I don't even know if you were allowed to stream yesterday because of this contract. Like, that's the next thing you got to worry about. Not worry about it. It's one game a year. But I think it has to do with the contract. If people want to direct their anger at something, it would be between the SEC network and the entire SEC. I think that's what I think about it. All right. We're going to step aside for a break here, and we've got Clay Henry with us in the next segment as well. Calls and texts at 877-377-6963. Great jobs available right now at the Fence Man. If you're a fence builder or if you have building experience, you can apply in person in Fort Smith at 1213 North 32nd Street. Fence Man is a great place to work. They offer fantastic pay and a $500 sign-on bonus. That's the Fence Man. Great jobs available for fence builders. Apply today in person, 1213 North 32nd Street in Fort Smith. The Fence Man is an equal opportunity employer. Not a lot of us would be spoken about on the floor of the U.S. House in very glowing terms. Clay Henry experienced that. We'll talk about that next. Hey, Clay, by the way, I hear, just in case you get bored with retirement, I hear there's a job open as the president of the NCAA. What do you say? You interested in running that?
No, I don't think so.
Come on. That sounds like lots of fun.
That'd be like trying to put out a wildfire in the West. Can't be done. People cannot put out wildfire. God can. God can order a rain. That is the only way you can put out a wildfire, and that's what they've got at the NCAA right now.
Well, I just kind of figure, first of all, the job description has no real description, and the NCAA doesn't even have a real mission statement for what they're going to be. So I don't know anybody that would want that job right now because they don't know what the position has to do or really what the NCAA is going to be doing.
Yeah, you'd be jumping out of a plane at 46,000 feet and wondering what's down there.
Yeah, okay, no doubt about it. Well, we'll talk about that later on in the second hour. You can go to YouTube to see this on C-SPAN. Representative Steve Womack of the U.S. House of Representatives spoke glowingly about Clay Henry on the floor of the House. I guess that's what happens when you've been as good as you've been at your job, Clay, and you've touched so many people across the state.
Steve's a good friend.
Well, he wouldn't be standing up there saying these things if he didn't feel them. I don't think so.
Well, it was very flattering, and he did say something that sparked something at the House. He said, I'd be, Jean Ann would have a list of things to do, and now she does. So, for me to do. She's like, she jumped at that. I don't know exactly what I'm doing this afternoon, but I think maybe getting the pollen off the front deck, those are some things I've got to do. So, but that's okay. I was going to do that anyway.
Okay. Hey, we had a question getting into yesterday a little bit about, I know you guys on the Morning Rush had Malachi Singleton on today.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that the Razorbacks will need to get into the portal for a quarterback potentially for next year? Because the thought of Malik Hornsby, like right now, with him kind of being a slash position player, I kind of wonder if he's really good at receiver and grows in that position, maybe that's his position moving forward, and there could be an opening for quarterback next year. And I don't know if Singleton or anybody else is going to step in as a true freshman. What do you think?
No, I mean, they got Cade Fortin, who played at North Carolina and South Florida. I really liked him. In fact, I talked to Kendall Briles yesterday. My last little deal is I sit down with both coordinators, Barry Odom and Kendall, and did a player-by-player, where they break it down. And Kendall really, really likes the spring that Cade Fortin had, really knows the offense. He's played Power 5 football at North Carolina. He's, he came as a walk-on, and then they've got a preferred walk-on coming from Jonesboro. I think they're going to be fine. And, when you say jump into the portal, what you do is you're always in the portal. And if you see something that fascinates you, well, then you react. If they've got 2 or 3 scholarships left, I would spend them on defensive linemen, not quarterbacks. That's just my opinion of where they are at quarterback. You can get in trouble, but if something happens let's just say all 3 of those go down, well, you're just screwed. I'm just telling you, there's not going to be a fourth one that you find it's going to lead you to the promised land. And that happens, then it's just going to be a bad season. But no, I don't think you have 6 quarterbacks or 5. I think you have 3 really good ones. And you're always looking for the next one, but it better be a good one. A mediocre quarterback will not take you to the promised land. Bryce Young goes down, Alabama is in trouble. Trevor Lawrence goes down, they're not winning. I don't care who you are. So those guys are just they're not just, you're not finding one down the block. Just whatever. Did I answer the question?
I think so. Okay. And I haven't seen enough of Fortin, well,
I have. I like him. Yeah.
As a walk-on, I just kind of wondered if
he'd
be ready for it.
He'll be on scholarship eventually. Yeah, he will.
Sooner rather than later.
No question.
Got a couple guys on the portal. We got Bubba in Boonville who's on hold here. Had a question for you, Clay. Bubba, hey, you're on halftime. Thanks for calling in.
Hey, thanks, guys. Hey, Clay, congrats on the retirement. Hope you catch a bunch of trout. My question is regarding Sam Pittman's contract. Do we know any money figures or anything like that? I haven't heard anything. I was just curious about that.
I think it'll be middle. I think it'll be like middle of the pack SEC. Which, if you look middle of the pack SEC, that's probably somewhere between like 5.1 and 6.3. So figure out just take your little slide scale and just wiggle it around, and then just stop somewhere, and it'll be right in there. Is that good enough?
Yeah, and from what we've heard, it's like, I know that they're still figuring out all the details before things are released, but the way that Coach Pittman put it, I know in the paper that the word lifetime had been thrown in there, but he said non-compete clause.
Yeah, I think it'll be something like a 5-year deal with rollovers. So that's kind of what Hunter seems to like. And, as long as things are going swimmingly, they'll just keep rolling over. Well, that's lifetime for a winning coach. Just and if if suddenly something goes hayward, haywire, then then you don't roll it over. Mm-hmm. And then he's got 5 years. So and then you can always buy him out. And if there's always a way to negotiate a buyout. It doesn't have to be what all that money is. We've seen that, right? They're negotiations. But I think everybody's going to say, yeah, that's a big number, but it's not the biggest number, and yeah, he probably earned it. So I say more power to him.
I'm with you, Clay. And real quick, because we are up against the break, has the pitchfork's been called off of Jimmy Sexton? Because that was one of the biggest things when Sam Pittman did hire Jimmy, that he was going to bankrupt the program. Has everybody kind of settled back down about it and just kind of almost forgotten that Jimmy Sexton and Sam Pittman's saying it now?
I think that's probably the case. And it's just, good coaches, they get the best agents. And I always knew that was going to happen. And if whoever's the next coach, if he does well, then Jimmy Sexton's going to sign him. And if you or I were an SEC head coach, we would be represented by Jimmy Sexton. I just know we would.
I'd want to be. I mean, he does the best job.
No, and he's got. Well, it's not just Jimmy. He's got a complete team. It's a huge operation, and I think he's got like the tallest building in Memphis, and there's a lawyer in every room. I'm not joking.
No, you're not. College football is run at Poplar and Ridgeway.
All of a sudden, I pictured the movie The Firm for some reason with Tom
Cruise.
You
got it.
Yeah. That's and Tom Cruise running along Mud Island.
BetOnline is your number one source for all your betting needs, sports info, and odds. Find all the latest sports developments, including this week's odds for the Masters Championship and the start of Major League Baseball season. BetOnline is your continued source for all your sporting wagering needs, including live betting and your favorite Vegas casino and poker games. It's super easy to get started, so join today. Learn why everyone is saying BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way to wager on popular sports and games. BetOnline, where the game starts.